Hi, my name is Jonathan, and this is a vlog about defending yourself against rape. In the case someone attempts to rape you, I have a couple techniques I'd like to give you. But first of all, I am not trained in the martial arts. I think I should say that up front. But I want to give a couple of these techniques because I care about people. And I've had a couple of friends who were raped. And these techniques are very effective. They are a matter of psychological warfare in case someone does attempt to rape you. Because the whole rape thing is about psychological warfare against you, and you need to defend yourself by giving back psychological warfare. So this vlog is basically mentally preparing yourself in the case someone does attempt to rape you. So you need to be mentally prepared in case someone does attempt to rape you. And so these two techniques are basically two physical techniques you need to mentally prepare yourself. Gouging the eyes out and biting the nose off. Okay, very graphic, but that's why you need to be mentally prepared for acting out on these two techniques in case someone does attempt to rape you. And first of all, if someone does attempt to rape you, you need to give fair warning to that guy about what you're about to do. Basically screaming, okay? You need to scream as loud as you can. Scream, no, stop. You need to be very forceful with screaming. Scream as loud as you can, no, stop. Because that gives fair warning to the guy, and that prevents you from liability about what you're about to do. At the same time, do not tell the guy about what you're about to do. Don't tell the guy you're going to gouge his eyes out. Don't tell the guy you're about to bite his nose off. Okay, because this is an element of surprise, the psychological warfare to defend yourself against rape. So scream as loud as you can, no, stop. And so again, gouging the eyes out and biting the nose off are elements of surprise. So don't, after you've screamed that, don't hint at the fact about what you might do to this guy. And these techniques, though they're graphic, they are marks of the fact that his sexual approaching you was non-consensual. Gouging the eyes out and biting his nose off are so graphic that they are marks, they are evidence that his sexually approaching you was non-consensual. And also these techniques, because of the graphic nature of them, they prevent retaliation, and both the short-term retaliation and long-term retaliation. Because if you report a rape or whatever, there will be retaliation against you. But if you follow through with these two techniques, there is a very less likely to be retaliation against you if you follow through with these two physical techniques. And they leave marks, which is very important because, like, for example, kicking the guy in the groin is very effective in disabling the guy who's trying to rape you. But because of the psychological nature of kicking the guy in the groin, there will be retaliation against you, either short-term or long-term. But if you just focus on these two techniques, gouging the rapist's eyes out, and biting his nose off, there will be almost zero retaliation against you if you follow through. So, okay, so when in the event, again, mentally preparing you in case this does happen, you need to be mentally prepared for giving yourself 100% for acting out on gouging the guy's eyes or literally biting off his nose. So in the case this does happen, do not hold back. Do not give 99% of yourself. Give 100% of yourself into damaging that guy's eyes, into gouging that guy's eyes out, into ripping his nose off. You need, in the case this does happen, be mentally prepared for giving 100% of yourself to these two acts. Okay? And in terms of gouging the eyes out, I recommend do not looking for a weapon, because your fingers are the best weapon, okay? Because if you have a weapon, the guy who's trying to rape you will notice those weapons. He will look for a weapon, but he will not necessarily look for your fingers or anything. Um, and in general, like regarding psychological warfare, gouging the guy's eyes out and biting off his nose is an element of psychological warfare because the nose and the eyes are pinnacles of physical beauty. And if you attack those two centers, then it's just a perfect psychological warfare to this guy. So, okay, again, mentally prepare yourself in case you are raped for it. Remember two things, two techniques you need to mentally prepare yourself in case someone does attempt to rape you. Gouging the eyes out of the guy, or biting off the nose of the guy. So gouging the eyes of the guy. Basically, keep your two fingers, the index finger and the middle finger, very tight. And again, an element of surprise. So after you've screamed, you will tighten your two fingers, and you will very forcefully thrust your eyes into the eye of the guy. It'll totally shock him, so it's an element of surprise, and you will give you 100% of yourself to holding these two fingers very forcefully, pick one eye, and force your two fingers into that guy's eye. And do it at least 3 times, because your goal, you gotta mentally prepare yourself that your goal for this is to pop the guy's eyeball out. It's to you need to see blood, okay? You need to just explode his eye, pop his eye, okay? So very forcefully, giving 100% of yourself, at least 3 times, gouge the guy's eyes out, okay? And if possible, your goal in this technique is to literally grab the guy's eyeball and rip it out of his head socket, okay? So mentally prepare yourself for doing that. At least 3 times, 3 very forceful thrusts into the guy's eye. That'll totally disable him, and it's an element of psychological warfare that will defend yourself against rape. So, and just follow through, at least follow through. Even if you have already disabled him, continue with more, because you've already warned him about you not raping him. So just follow through, okay? Even if he's disabled after the first thrust, continue thrusting very forcefully your fingers into the guy's eyeball, and make it an effort to grab his eyeball and just pull it out of his forehead, okay? Just pull his eyeball straight from his head, okay? This is why you need to mentally prepare yourself for doing this, because it's very graphic, but if you have mentally prepared yourself, you will follow through this and you will defend yourself. And also, so one of 2 things, gouging the guy's eyeball out, or biting his nose. So whichever is closest, whichever you find in that event is closest. So if you find that your hands, you can't move your hands for whatever reason, make every effort to use your mouth, and you will very forcefully grab onto that guy's nose, and you will literally bite through his nose and rip his nose off his face. You need to mentally prepare yourself for doing this, okay? Because so when you grab onto his nose, just bite 100% of all your strength into that guy's nose and rip his nose off, okay? And this is an element of like psychological warfare, because in the event that you are gang raped, there is at least 2 or more people that are trying to rape you. In the event that you are gang raped, your only defense will be psychological warfare, because you will not be able to physically combat a bunch of guys, or in the event of being gang raped. So in the event of being gang raped, your only defense is psychological warfare. In other words, the first person that rapes you is gouging that guy's eyes out very forcefully, ripping his eye right out of his eye socket, or biting his nose and literally ripping his nose off, okay? Because these 2 techniques will shock the rest of the people who are attempting to rape you in an event of a gang rape. And this technique of psychological warfare will ward off everyone else, and you will be protected in the event of a gang rape by following through these techniques. So I know it's very graphic, but for real, you do need to prepare yourself because of the graphic nature of these two techniques. Gouging the guy's eyes out with the goal of ripping his eye out of his eye socket, and very forcefully, all your strength, trying to just literally pop his eye so there's blood is flowing from his eye, or biting through his nose so that he doesn't have a nose anymore. You need to mentally prepare yourself because the normal human being would not do this to another human being. But if someone is trying to rape you and you have warmed them, also the reason for screaming in the beginning stage of someone trying to rape you, the reason for screaming as loud as you can is screaming prepares yourself for what you're about to do because of the graphic nature of it. So scream as loud as you can. So yeah, I hope this doesn't happen to you, but if it does, either way, you need to mentally prepare yourself about following through these techniques to defend yourself against rape. And you may be a very sweet and passive person. You would not normally do this to another human being. And I understand, I myself am a pacifist. And I love people. I never hurt another human being. But you need to defend yourself against rape because you do not deserve to be raped. You need to remember that in the case you are raped. Let it, before it would happen, just remind yourself before it would happen that you never deserve to be raped. Okay? That's mentally preparing yourself. And besides, regarding the pacifism, you're not going to kill the guy if you rip his nose off and gouge his eyes out. Gouge the guy's eye out. You're not going to kill him, okay? So it's really an act of compassion towards him, okay? Because he will live, and he will become a better person, okay? If you literally gouge his eyes out, rip his eye out of his eye socket, and bite his nose off, he will become a better person. He'll still be alive, okay? So that's an act of compassion towards that guy. So you need to decide beforehand that you are going to follow through with this. Okay? I hope this does not happen to you. I hope someone does not attempt to rape you. But in the case this does happen, prepare now. Decide now that you will follow through with these techniques. Okay? No matter what. Okay? And so, because in the event that you are raped, you will not be able to think. Like if someone tries to rape you, you will not be able to think, and as a result of not being able to think, you'll not be able to defend yourself. But if you remind yourself of these two techniques, that you will follow through with gouging the guy's eye out, and literally biting through his nose, psychological warfare, then you will defend yourself against rape, and you will not feel the shame of having been raped. And you will not find retaliation, and following through these techniques will also protect you legally because they are marks. The graphic nature of these are marks that you that the attempted rape was non-consensual, and that he did in fact try to rape you, and the guy will not try to retaliate if you report the rape. So that is all. God bless you. Thank you.